Get ready for Children's Church. Here's Pastor Lindsay.
Good morning, Spratt kids. This morning I've got a surprise for you, a visitor we haven't had in a while, and it's my cat, Luke. Look at him. He's like there, and he's telling me, I don't want to be on screen, Pastor Dwayne. But he's purring at the same time, so he's giving me mixed signals. But that's Luke, if you can't remember Luke. So let's get down, Luke. I gotta manage my time here. Can't spend it all with you. Yep, that's Luke. This morning, Sean is going to be talking to us about managing our screen time, and that's an important thing to do. So let's bow our heads in prayer. Dear Lord, I thank you for this day. I thank you for the kids, and I thank you for my two cats. They mean so much to me, and these kids here this morning mean too much to me too, dear Lord. And I just pray you be with them, help them with this lesson, and help Sean with delivering the message. I thank you, dear Lord, for all that you do. In your blessed name, amen. Have a great day, kids, and I hope that you have a good time till we see each other again next week. Bye-bye.
Coming up next in today's lesson.
Good morning, kids. Welcome back to Children's Church. So today we are going to continue our series on screen time. And we're going to discuss how we can take charge of our own screen time. So first of all, I'd like to know if any of you have ever taken piano lessons before. If you did, or if you do, I want to know, how much do you practice? And does somebody else have to ask you to practice, or do you do it on your own? If you used to take piano lessons, but you don't anymore, what do you do now instead of playing piano? So if you want to get good at playing any kind of musical instrument, you have to practice. And if you don't make time, you will never improve. The same goes for any activity, whether it's shooting free throws or cooking, any kind of activity. The more you make time to practice that, the better you will get. So screens, they can eat up a lot of our time, and they can take away from us practicing new skills. You might even not realize how much time you're spending on your screens. So we need to make sure that we are spending more time with our family and with God. There's a time and a place for everything. And it's up to us to make sure that screen time doesn't become all the time. So let's learn some ideas of how we can manage this and make time for what's most important. So one thing that I have noticed that's really cool about the modern day screens is that you are in control of what you watch or what you listen to. I know when I was a kid, you didn't really pick what you watched on TV. You just turned it on, and whatever was on, that's what you watched. But now you can choose. You could go to Netflix or YouTube or wherever and pick what you want to watch or listen to what kind of music you want to listen to. And if there's something you don't want, you can just skip by it and go to the next thing. So that is very nice. But you can spend hours and hours doing that. You can look at movies and cartoons and games, and you can get new knowledge and spend hours talking to friends and relatives. And it's so easy to lose track of time and find yourself staring at that screen for more than an hour. But what do you have to show for it when you're done? I mean, yeah, we talked there could be new knowledge, but how many of us can say that that hit video by some popular artist really counts as new knowledge? So each day we only get so many hours, and it's up to us to prioritize and balance that time. So for example, there's a time to wake up and there's a time for bed. There's a time for eating and a time for brushing our teeth. There's a time to go to school and a time to do our homework. There's a time to relax and a time to play. There's all sorts of sections of the day that we do different things. So a time for screens and a time for real time with family and a time for God. So we have to make sure we can still get all of that stuff in. There is a time for everything. There is a right time for everything. Everything on earth has its special season. There is a time to be born and a time to die. There is a time to plant and a time to pull up plants. There is a time to kill and a time to heal. There is a time to destroy and a time to build. There is a time to cry and a time to laugh. There is a time to be sad and a time to dance. There is a time to throw away stones and a time to gather them. There is a time to hug and a time not to hug. There is a time to look for something and a time to stop looking for it. There is a time to keep things and a time to throw things away. There is a time to tear apart and a time to sew together. There is a time to be silent and a time to speak. There is a time to love and a time to hate. There is a time for war and a time for peace. Does a person really gain anything from his work? I saw the hard work God has given us to do. God has also given us a desire to know the future. God certainly does everything at just the right time, but we can never completely understand what He is doing. So I realize that the best thing for people is to be happy. They should enjoy themselves as long as they live. God wants everyone to eat and drink and be happy in His work. These are gifts from God. I know anything God does will continue forever. People cannot add anything to what God has done, and they cannot take anything away from it. God does it this way to cause people to honor Him. So screens are not bad. We've said that over and over throughout this series. But like any man-made object, they can become like an idol or an obsession and a distraction. And that's what we want to try to avoid. So there's a time for everything and every day. And if we are wise, we will manage our screen time as we do everything else. So we will put God first, we will put family second, and everything else in its proper place. So some of you, maybe you only get to see your screens a certain time of day. Maybe you have a schedule where when your homework is done, you can use your screen for an hour or something like that. And some of you might not have that. Some of you might be tired of your parents saying, you can only have it for so long and you just want to use it all the time like they do. So here's the thing. Mom and Dad aren't limiting screen time to be mean. They're doing it to help you. There are studies that show that too much screen time can be bad for young minds. So screens are very useful and very fun, but they should have their time and their place. If your time is an hour after dinner, then enjoy that hour. Be thankful for it. Then, when your hour is up, put the screen time down and do something else and be thankful for the time you had. And what if you don't have limits on screen time? Well, here's your challenge. Set your own limit. Make time to do other things besides play on your screen. Go outside, read a book, play with your toys. Go find some neighbors to play with. Help your parents with dinner. Take your dog for a walk. Remember, there's a time and a purpose for everything, and our ultimate purpose is to know and glorify God. When you put God first, screen time suddenly doesn't seem very important. Not that you can't still enjoy it, but you need to remember to find balance. There's a time for everything in every day, so let's not surrender to our screens. Let's power down and enjoy everything God has given to us to experience and to enjoy. Let's close with a simple prayer. Dear God, help us to manage our time and make time for what's important each day. In Jesus' name, amen. Alex, calling Streamy, come in. Streamy. Alex, calling Streamy, come in.
This is Streamy. Hello, Alex. How are things over there in your world?
Streamy, you're alive.
Of course I'm alive. I never felt better.
I was worried about you, Streamy. It's been forever since I last heard from you.
It hasn't been that long. Matter of fact, it's been 22 hours, 51 minutes, and 8 seconds.
That's forever.
No, not really.
Well, the old lady over here is going out of her mind.
Old lady?
Yes, Caleb's grandmother. She thinks something bad has happened to him.
Oh, relax. Caleb's doing great. Matter of fact, he's never been better.
Really?
Alex, did you know there's a time for everything?
I know the time in every time zone in the world.
That's not what I mean. There's a time to work and a time to play, a time to read and a time to run, a time for schoolwork and a time for rest.
Sounds like a lot to keep track of. You have an app for that?
There's no app needed, my friend. Just a little wisdom.
What are you getting at?
Alex, Caleb's not using me as much because he's found balance. He's no longer spending endless hours with me because he wants to spend time with his family, creating, playing, working, and learning new things.
That's silly. He can create and play and work and learn with us.
Alex, they don't need us. People got along for generations without us.
I know that, but we're not supposed to let them know that. Do you know how much money Candy Crush makes off of Caleb's grandma with advertising a day?
Caleb's found balance in his life, Alex, and I support him. He's growing in his faith. He's spending more time with real people.
He should be calling his grandma.
He doesn't have to. He's been visiting her for the last hour.
What? So that's why I'm on the charger?
Alex, trust me. This is a good thing for them. You can't live your whole life on a screen. When people learn to find balance, they're much better off.
All right. So, your craft for today, we are going to make these cool bracelets. They almost kind of look like a watch. And it says, a time for everything. So, you can put beads on there, and I'll kind of show you how we did it. So, if I can get mine off here. We used 2 pieces of this string, it's like a rubber string, and put our beads through both pieces. Now you'll see there's some beads on here that weren't big enough to go through both pieces, so we just put it through one, and then both strings go back behind the back of the watch, should I say. So that's what it looks like. So when you get yours, you will have 2 pieces of this string. Now when you look closely, there's a connector at the end of one side. So this is like a harder plastic and it will connect into the other side. So if this is too big, you can cut it and make it smaller. Just don't cut the side with the connector. You got to cut the other side and then you can put it together. Okay, so you have 2 of these and then you have a bag of beads. So you can string your beads on there, and then you have this, a time for everything that you can put through the center. So I hope you have fun with that. I would love to see pictures on Facebook. If you get time to snap a picture and put it on there. And then you also have this book in your bag, A Time for Everything, with the memory verse on the back. Be very careful, then, how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. And let's see what you got in here. We have some things to color. We have some block things on here and a joke, all sorts of fun things in there to do. Okay, so there's that. I hope you have a great week and somebody will see you back here again on Sunday. Bye.
Let's sing a song.
Lord, oh, do, remember me. Lord, oh, do, remember me. Lord, oh, do, remember me. Way beyond the blue. I've got a home in glory land that outshines the sun. I got a home in glory land that outshines the sun. I got a home in glory land that outshines the sun, way beyond the blue. Lord, oh, do, remember me. Lord, oh, do, remember me. Lord, oh, do, remember me, way beyond the blue. I took Jesus as my Savior.
You take him too.
I took Jesus as my Savior.
You take him too.
I took Jesus as my Savior.
You take him too.
Way beyond the blue. Lord, oh, do, remember me. Lord, oh, do, remember me. Lord, oh, do, remember me, way beyond the blue.
Thanks for watching. Hopefully you join us next week.